always worry that these videos are going to come across as me saying, I know everything. I don't. I think I'm closer to knowing nothing than I am to knowing everything. I dare you to watch this same video that I made last year, and you'll laugh about all the things that I thought I knew before life would come along and completely change all that. It's worth it though, for the laughs anyway. I was scrolling through Pinterest when I found this quote that said, "There are years that ask questions and years that answer questions." And for me, in my 24th year, I got so many questions answered. Questions I never even knew I was asking. And while this doesn't qualify me for knowing everything, I at least know more about myself than I did on my last birthday. So pull up a chair, grab a snack, grab a drink, grab an alcoholic drink preferably, if you like to drink and you're not underage. Because I'm about to tell you everything that I've learned. Okay, well, maybe not everything, but I'm going to tell you 25 things that I've learned in 25 years. I hate to get so deep so quickly, or maybe actually I love it, question mark. But I've learned that you don't have to force or fake anything. And when you do, you can feel it. You know when you're trying to force a relationship or a friendship into something that it's not. And when you recognize that, you need to cut that shit out, because when real genuine connections come along, you won't have to fake and force it. It will fit seamlessly into your life because it belongs there. I also learned not forcing / faking things is twin sister. What's meant to be will find its way. This is most prevalent in relationships, I think, in your 20s, when you and another person are prioritizing separate things that have nothing to do with each other. It's okay to follow your dreams where they take you, even if they take you away from that person, because if they're meant to be the one or stay in your life forever, you'll find your way back to each other. And everything happens for a reason. Don't question it all the time or overthink it. Over time, you'll understand exactly the reason and exactly why things happen the way they did. Focus on the good. I realized I started becoming way happier in my life when I started to appreciate the smallest things. Time spent with my friends, a small compliment from a stranger, a text from someone I haven't talked to in a while. Creating art. Life isn't all doom all the time. There are things to get excited about every single day. I've also learned to block them. I read this Twitter post once that said, "Don't let someone give you anxiety on your own phone." And I felt that. Your phone screen is your space, and it shouldn't be occupied by people who make you feel anxious in any way. No apologies or explanations, just block them. I learned through my extensive time in therapy that although the wounds are probably not your fault, healing from them is your responsibility. And I think for a long time I had this victim mentality that, someone else needed to fix me and do the healing for me, because it's not my fault that what happened to me happened. But in reality, healing is something that takes time, and you have to put in the effort for every day to get to a better place. I've also learned that healing isn't linear. You can feel perfectly fine and think you're ready to move on weeks after having your heart broken. And then you find yourself crying in the mall parking lot over that same heartbreak 4 months later. You're not always on this upward trajectory towards healing and moving on. Emotions don't follow a trend, and honestly, they don't make any real sense sometimes. I learned that you have to forgive yourself for not knowing better until you knew better. We beat ourselves up for not knowing the ways that people are going to hurt us, as if we could tell the future. It's okay to admit that you like someone. For fuck's sake, everyone in their 20s is so obsessed with pretending like they don't like the people that they like and playing games with their emotions. If you like someone, it's okay to admit it, and it's even more okay to tell that person. In 5, 10, 20 years from now, make sure that you can say you chose your life and you didn't settle for it. I've learned to stop apologizing for my emotions. To stop letting people tell me that I'm too emotional or too dramatic, because your feelings are always valid. And if something hurts you, then it hurts you, no matter what it is. I've learned that it's okay to be completely wrong about someone. Not everyone's intentions will mirror your own, and not everyone has your best interest at heart, sadly. But even so, it's okay to have trusted these kinds of people. It's okay to forgive yourself for trusting these kinds of people. It speaks more to your open and loving heart than trusting people who would eventually fuck you over. I've learned to be incredibly and extremely myself. I remember going on a first date with this guy, and I just decided that I'm so over trying to be cool and normal. It's exhausting for me. I decided that I was going to be completely and almost aggressively my weird ass self, and if he didn't like me, that would be okay. It wasn't meant to be, because he didn't like the best parts about me anyway. And I'll know that I was never anything other than myself. That's just the point I'm at now. I've learned to set boundaries, that my time and energy are precious. And you get to choose who you give that to. Don't apologize for not giving people your time if they don't deserve it. And don't ever feel bad for saying no. The world is a better place because you're in it. The lives that you've touched are immeasurable. Your worth is beyond what anyone could ever comprehend. You're a gift to the world, and you should treat yourself that way. I've learned that heartbreak is essential to growth. You have to go through something that completely destroys you in order to figure out who you really are and what you really want. Nobody escapes heartbreak, whether it's from a relationship or a friendship. No one is safe. But these things force us to think about what it is that we really want and change our entire lives to arrive at that place. I've learned that love doesn't suck. I think it's so natural to go through a heartbreak and be like, love sucks. But you know what? Love doesn't suck. Love doesn't hurt you. Someone who doesn't know how to love is what hurts you. And to be honest, to be frank, they suck, actually. I've learned that the past isn't a waste. Every single piece of my past experiences are what has made me who I am today, and I wouldn't change any of them. You don't go through all of that bullshit for nothing. I've also learned that it doesn't get better. You get better. When something is hurting you, it's not that what hurts you became easier to deal with. You got stronger, and you had to pick yourself up, and you had to make yourself okay. And it wasn't because it got any easier. It was because you got stronger. It's also okay to have no fucking idea what you want to do with the rest of your life. Like for me, I still don't know what I want to do with the rest of my life. And, as college graduation gets closer, as new job opportunities come my way, I still don't know. I'm still no closer to knowing than I was a couple years ago. But I've just learned to grow and try new things and do new things and experience life, because that's when you're going to figure out what you want to do and what you're going to be happy doing. But just because you don't know that right now, don't feel badly about that, because you don't have to know that. You don't even ever really have to figure that out. I also learned to appreciate my weird creative brain and not constantly feel like my mind is different from everyone else's. I'd always be like, my mind just doesn't seem to work in the same way that other people's do. And that's okay. I've learned that, honestly, that's probably the best quality I have, is that I don't think about things the same way other people do, and I don't want to. I want to be different, and I think that for a long time I thought that I should be kind of ashamed that I don't fit in, and I'm not like everybody else, and, nobody understands me, but I think that that's my best quality. I also learned to love empty pages, that at the end of every chapter is actually what I consider to be more exciting, the start of a new one. And when you get an empty page and there's nothing written on it, you can make it into whatever you want it to be. And I've learned to fall in love with new beginnings because, you get to the start and it's overwhelming. You're like, what am I going to do? But I think that's the beauty of it, is that you don't know. But no matter what you choose, you can make it whatever you want it to be. I've also learned the difference between who to be patient with and who to let go of. And that distinction is really hard because I get attached really easily to people, and I let people linger in my life for longer than I should. I have a terrible problem with cutting people off. It's really hard for me. But I've learned the difference. Some people are worth being patient with and waiting for them to change or them to realize or whatever it is you're waiting on. But some people aren't going to change. They're not going to put in that effort, and they don't care about you. And those are the people that you need to let go of. I've also learned that, the world it kind of sucks sometimes, and sometimes I don't like living in this world. I feel like there are a lot of mean people who have bad intentions, and that sounds like kind of dark, but it's true. I think we all know that. But I've learned that, you don't like living in this world. I can just create my own. And that's why my whole brand is called Serena's World, because I don't know. I want the world to be rainbows and bright colors and happiness and people being good to people and kindness and love and friendship. And the real world's not like that. But your world can be like that. Now that I think about it, I may have said this before. This may have been a lesson that I've learned before, but I want to say it again because it's a really important one. I don't want to dwell on negative shit, but I've been hurt a lot in the past year and a half, and from that, I've learned that when things don't work out, when people hurt you, and I mean deeply hurt you, it's really easy to become closed off, to guard your heart, to not open up to people again, to say things like, I'm never gonna trust anyone again. And that was never me. I think, yeah, you do have those thoughts, but they don't last very long. You know that opening up and connecting with people is how you make sustainable relationships. It's how you meet, real, genuine people who are going to be in your life forever. And so I never really let heartbreak get in the way of keeping my heart open to new people, new experiences. And that's one of the most important things I think I've learned in 25 years.